Morning, afternoon and night pups, and today we're going to go through stories about me. So, I guess first story should be when I was dragged down the road by my dog. Her name was Coco. I also took George out on that walk. So, we went walking with the dogs. That was straight out. Me and my brother. So, my brother wasn't wearing shoes and he stepped on a bindi. So, Coco was a big dog. Like, she was a German Shepherd up to here on me at the time because I was pretty young and maybe taller. I really don't remember that well. But she was a big dog in all cases. So, I went walking with my dog George. My brother went with Coco. He told me to hold it so he could go get shoes so he didn't step on another bindi. So then, the bad part is Sasha, a dog that my dog doesn't like very much, well, my dog didn't like at the time, was on the top of the hill that we lived on. So, I was halfway up the hill at least, and Coco saw her. This dog started running down like full speed. So Coco thought, good idea to run after it with my owner holding the leash that was wrapped around my arm. So she took chase. The lead was on my arm, so even if I tried to let go, like, I didn't even think of it because I was freaked out, and so I was going with her on my back. I fell over, she was running, I was getting scraped along the concrete on the road because it was running on the road. She ran onto the road, down the road, and I was coming along with her. So she took a run. I was getting scraped to the bottom of the hill and my brother ran out screaming at me to let go, so I finally let go and it miraculously undid from my arm, which was lucky, I'd say, because there was like a big bump in the road right where I landed, so that was a bad time. Then my brother ran off to go get the dogs, so they didn't run off or anything, and the other dog jumped over a fence. I don't know how it did it, but it jumped over a fence and Coco couldn't follow, so that was a bad time. And I had like scrape all up my arm because like I was getting dragged along like this, so I had it all up here. It was a bad time. It was a bad time for Wolfy here. And that was the last time I walked Coco. Of course, my brother still took her out for walks. I just took George, my little dog, who was tiny. He couldn't drag me along at all, which was probably for the best. And yeah, that's the story. I remember walking into my house crying my eyes out and like screaming for my mom, and so was my brother. And we had to get this stuff that like Dettol and stuff all in it, and that hurt like heck. I've got to say, it hurt. But of course it would, right? So, that's the first story, and yeah. So, with the second story, I guess I could go for the one where I was riding a quad bike for the first time. Quad bike. So, one of my friends who was our next door neighbor, just got a quad bike. He asked my brother, like, if he wanted to have a turn, and he said, yeah, let's give it a shot. So, he went on the quad bike, like, he didn't like the controls, so he said, no, I don't want to do it. And we used to ride motorbikes all the time, so he was pretty confident and, like, in riding motorbikes, and so was I. And he said, no, I'm not used to the quad bike controls, and I was like, give me a shot, I can do it, woo, motorbike, it's the exact same. Little did I know, it definitely was different. It was full-blown different. So, I thought it would be easier because you have 4 wheels, but the controls are very difficult instead of the motorbike controls. So, what happened was, I hopped on, my dad told me what to do, and I was like, yeah, I've got it, I can do it. I've rode motorbikes before, it's fine, I've got this. So, that was my downfall in the end, because as soon as I hopped on, I didn't know what to do, and I revved it, and it just shot forward as fast as it could go, and I only did it lightly, and it just shot forward. I was out of control, bloody doing this. My dad said let go of the accelerator really loud, so I did. I let go, I had my hands in the air like this, so I was like, woo, on a roller coaster, but I was scared, and so then my dad finally told me, put on the brakes, and I was like, where's the brakes? So it was there, of course, where it is on the motorbike, so I went to grab it, and the quad bike crashed into a tree at that exact moment. So I went forward like this and landed on a tree. There was an imprint on the tree after I landed as well, so there was just like me doing this onto a tree, like it was slightly lighter than the rest of the tree, so you could tell that's where I was. I was wearing a helmet, of course, and that was lucky because I could have died there. And it's actually lucky the tree was there, because after that tree was like a highway, and you couldn't really, there was a tree there because we were in the bush, so like it was surrounding this grassy area where we always rode our motorcycles and stuff, and after that tree was a bunch of other trees, but also like a straightforward gap to a highway. So like a main road, not a highway. It was just like a main road, and then it was probably for the best the tree was there. And yeah. So that was that story, and I remember my dad carried me on his shoulder because that's just how our dad was. If we ever got injured, we'd be carried on his shoulder, like flopped like a sack of potatoes. But it was less injury, I guess, than homeless any other way. That's just how it worked, I guess. But yeah, then I had to, my mom freaked out over it, I remember, and I was too scared to ride motorbikes again and quad bikes, but I did, after like a few years, I did ride a motorbike again and almost crashed. But yeah, that's the second story. Wait, that's 4. Second story. For the third story, we'll go for the boxing bag glass scene. So, what happened with this is, my dad got me a boxing bag because I really liked punching things. I'm like evil child. I liked punching, like, I was trying to do karate at the time. I was doing karate and boxing, and that was pretty fun at the time, and so my dad got me a boxing bag because why not, right? So he hung it up in the playroom type of thing, and so me and my brother, sister were punching it. I punched it, like I swung it, and my brother dodged it, and it hit a light, so it glassed everywhere onto the ground, and we were like, Dad, we broke something, and then he came out and saw it and was like, clean it up then, type of thing, and our mum got a vacuum, vacuumed it all up, was like, yep, sweet. So my brother and sister left, not wanting to do that again, and so I just kept punching it and stuff. And then I went to dodge it because super dodging this and me being silly went onto one of my knees, and a huge piece of glass was left over that nobody noticed somehow. It was like that big, I'd say, and it went right into my knee. It went into my knee and it poured blood, and I screamed, and my dad got me on the couch, and they got it out, and it was like, I remember thinking, there is a volcano on my knee. It was on this one, on this knee, and I've actually got a scar of it on my knee. Hold on. It's faded and yeah, not really noticeable. I don't want to show you guys that. But it went into my knee and I got a scar off it at the end, and I remember going to class and everything. I was in like kindergarten and I showed the class that show and tell, and they were like, wow. Yeah, that was a pretty good time, I remember, and I picked the scab, which made it into a scar, technically. But that is the third story. But yeah, that's what happened to my pony, and that's the end. For the fourth and final story, we'll go with one I don't remember, but I've been told it many times. Was when my brother and sister and me were playing with a toy tram, like tram, what? We were playing with a toy pram, and so I was in it, my brother and sister were pushing it, and it broke. When they went forward, and I went flipped out of it, and I busted my lip, like here, and I still have like a scar on it. It's really faint, and only if I pull a really weird face does it actually come into view. And I actually forget what side it is on, and I had to go to a hospital to get it fixed and everything, and that was a pretty bad injury for baby Wolfy, the little pup Wolfy, and yeah, that's I have lots of other stories like that, but maybe I'll save them for another time. So have a good morning, afternoon and night. Pour that subscribe button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.